Yo, what is up? It is Botbender Orange, and I am back with a bag of cookies and candy and chocolate milk. And no, I'm not. I am back with a fan mode per usual, gang. And this is another 4-bot combiner. This one, consisting of the new 4 spindle, P-Trex, rack, and wing. I don't have a Master D yet, but once I do, he will be mixed into the fold. He has a couple of accessories on him right now. He has this kind of like sword, spear stabby thing on his right hand, and on his left hand you can see that he has this kind of crossbow. I'm going to remove those right now because they weigh down the figure, and so but let me show them off first. You can see this thing over here. This is just the wing finger. I mean, it's kind of blurred out, but it's the wing finger. It's the wing finger dino face, along with come on, let me get the lighting, along with the rack tail and then the rack hip connector stuck into the middle. So that just basically plugs into his hand. And second one over here. This is basically the bow and arrow. Come on, autofocus. You can see that this is just the wing finger top torso, wing finger bottom torso, with the wing finger forearms, tail, and spindle face plugged in, and then the buckler from the P-Trex, and then the robot, he holds it right here. Okay, so I'm gonna move this out of the way. All right, now we can take a look at the bot. Let me just refocus and actually brighten this a little bit because my lighting's not that great over here. He is on a piece of paper because one, the surface is way too glossy, and the spindle is all sorts of loose. Maybe your copy is better, but spindle is all sorts of looseness, and so that's not contributing to the stability of this particular mold. But we'll get through it. We'll be all right. So check him out. One, I think what's really, really cool is that if you look at his arms, he kind of has 4 arms, but the way they're kind of situated, oh, man, these are going to fall off, dude. Spindle's clothing, like, dude, I got a little piece of paper in there to like stiffen the joint, but yo, that thing just pops off like nobody's business. And I know I'm not the only person. There's been a couple of folks on IG who have been asking me, and I can confirm, yeah. Anyway, see, look at that. He is all standing crook right now. That's a little bit better. So he has these 4 arms, and you can see it's one arm, and then you got this additional arm on the outside, but it makes it look so cool. I mean, one, it looks like a cohesive piece, so that it looks just like one burly arm, or you can kind of see it as one thin arm, and there's like a layer of armor or something like that on top of it, and I think it looks great. Homie Cardboard Bots had said that it reminds him of Guyver. And, I definitely see it from like the forearm spears that he has going on. Definitely has that look. And, so there's lots of cool things going on about him. And my premise, so to speak, my creative writing prompt in this was that I wanted to kind of recreate God, I forget the name. The official combiner that Mark Mayer put out, Mark Clonas put out, has a name, but I forget what it is. But I wanted to do a remix of that, so you can see that there are some similar elements that I incorporated here. But now, of course, using spindle, and of course, if you don't have a spindle, you can use 2 Paleotrexes, a transmutated in a Paleotrax, or a what's her name, Skelevor. Yeah, and it'll work the same. It'll probably work even better. Just because you'll have a lot of symmetry going on in the Paleotrax department. But let's kind of get to it. Here, let me do a quick 3-6. Maybe I should have done that in the beginning. What's cool is his back is not too bad. You see that? He has a little bit of a backpack, but there's a lot of cool things going on. There's a little bit of a bulge here, but this kind of fills out. It looks like he's been working out the glutes. And so, yeah, he has a bit of a bone butt, so to speak. I think it works out really, really well. And, this piece of paper actually is working out. This tissue paper Kleenex is working out really, really well for my purpose right now in terms of spinning him around. And so that's the back, and that's not bad either, actually. I think it looks pretty good. I did what I could to beef up the feet, because I know in the original combiner, one of the issues that people talked about was the legs were really fiddly. And so not only did I do my best to kind of beefing up the thigh, I try to beef up the calf as well. I wish there was a better way to cinch these 2 pieces together, but for what it's worth, and you know, the purposes of just kind of putting up this fan mode and putting this video together, I think it works out fine. And so he looks cool. He looks cool, especially in certain angles. He's going extra splits on me again, but especially at certain angles, I think he looks good. I think he looks good. And yeah, see this leg, dude. It's so spindly and, no pun intended, and wobbly, and yeah. So again, this might be one of those situations, a Humpty Dumpty situations, where all the king's horses and all the king's men could not put him back together again once I take him apart, and that might be the case. So kind of take him in right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and yeah, we're gonna get to it. So let's start with the easy bits, and usually that starts with just kind of cracking the rope out open in half. And so the fit would be a lot looser, but I had to jam a piece of paper in there, and so let me just move the torso to the side right now. The bottom half. All right. So this middle crotch bit, so to speak, the waist, whatever you want to call it. Hold on, let me just the focus and the lighting. That part right there is utilizing the torso of Spindle, and also the buckler of Spindle as well. Yeah, the mouthpiece goes in the back, this goes in the front, and used in the same way as you would P-Trex, dude. Sorry, let me get that. There we go. Yeah, using the same way as you would the traditional P-Trex torso, which consists of the dinosaur face, right? So move to the side. Let's take a look at the leg. Each of the legs are going to be symmetrical, but I'm going to use Paleotrex, and just because it's a much firmer fit, and so we're going to get a better representation of what this legs look like. All right, look, you see this? There's not a lot of move. I sacrificed a lot of mobility in it just because I want it to be more stable than anything, and so yeah, just bear with me. So this you can see is the thigh, right? This is the thigh, and you have the peg floating back there. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. So you have the thigh coming down, and you plug that into the big rack leg. So with that waist connector peg pointing to the back, you're going to plug in one of the Paleotrex claws, and you're going to plug that hole in to that peg like that, you see? Then you stretch this down, and you get that peg, and you plug it into the hole that protrudes on the opposite side of this thigh, all right? And then from there, you're going to plug in the calf of the Paleotrex, angle this down, and plug in the tail, the frilly part of the tail, and see how that pretty much lines up on the ground. That's going to be your stabilizer, and that's going to help him stand, even though he can't do it right now. When you have, he almost did. When you have two legs, you're going to be able to do it, and yeah, all right. So at the top, and also from the foot, that little thumb or heel or whatever you want to call it, you plug in the other Paleotrex calf, and you extend that peg out, that little one right there, and then you plug that in to the inner side of the thigh, or inner side of the thigh, and again, that gives it this very, very, very firm piece. And then from there, you're going to plug that bit in, and then you're going to plug that same bit as well. Yeah, Spindle's legs right over here. Like, see how firm this is? I don't know. I'm going to have to try to take it apart or something, and then add some Kiki, a piece of paper, or perhaps even super glue. I hate making permanent changes to my toys, but I may have to do it in this case. Let me try to adjust the focus a little bit more. See, my camera does have autofocus, but the lighting is really bad, and therefore I have to do manual focus and manual light adjusting every time. And so, but yeah, I know y'all understand. We're just trying to get through this, and so I appreciate y'all's patience and understanding whenever I do these videos. And like, if you've watched this channel long enough, you know how it is, right? You know how it is. And so we got the torso over here, okay? And so more or less each side is symmetrical. So we're going to start with this arm, the Paleotrex one, okay? So it is just one axe bit. The Paleotrex head is threaded through that extra hole that exists here. Spindle does not have that, and so we are threading the Paleotrex robot head through that hole, okay? And then you extend this down in the dark bit of that axe part. You're going to extend the Paleotrex, let's call this the hand, all right? And you know how there's that peg right there, the dark peg? On the other side, you're going to plug in the rack foot, the hole that exists on the side of that rack foot, and then you're going to extend that down, plug in the wing finger claw. Can I get it a little bit more clear? Nope. You're going to plug in the wing finger forearm, and then you're going to get the spear in there, just like you would in the traditional wing finger mold. And you can see these, it all just kind of like hugs together. And once you examine it, you can see it's just two arms placed against each other, but kind of far away. It gives this illusion that this is like a full, big, solid, chunky arm, and I think that's really, really cool. And so you'll see how this peg connects into the torso in a little bit. I'm going to show you the other arm because there's a slight change that you have to do. Everything is identical. The only thing that you have to do is this frill, you have to spin it around. And that's because of the way the differences between this frill versus the axe bit on Paleotrex works. And so that's the only thing that's different. You got to spin this around, and everything else is identical. All right. This part also is a little bit annoying. He has these extra like tabs over there. See, Paleotrex doesn't have that. And so it's a lot easier for, it's a lot easier for him to plug in and stuff like that. But these extra bits, how annoying are they? All right. In terms of how this body is made, so it is the ractinite head, ractinite torso rather, and it's flipped upside down. The rack head is pointing down, okay? And then from there, you're going to plug in the wing finger thighs up at the top, just like so. You see that, right? Yeah. Yeah, and then you have the Styracosaurus head, and you have the wing finger combiner head plugged in there, which I love the combiner head, by the way. I think it looks so cool. And then on the back, so in terms of how this is connected, the dark gray peg that protrudes from the dino head, that's what's plugging into the body. And then that secondary lighter peg that extends out, you plug that into the Paleotrex head. The Paleotrex head hangs down, and then it connects into one part of the rack hip connector while the other part connects back there. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece, and it's a very, very solid chunk. And then that peg or that hole right there, that's where you're going to plug in the axe bit. So this axe bit can freely move around because Paleotrex has that clearance. But watch, when I do the same thing with spindle, because of those like little nubs around there, you can only get it at a very, very specific angle. Like it's not going to move anymore. It's not going to move anymore. Yeah, you just can't. And unless you like shave off some of those bits of plastic, and I'm definitely not doing that. See, look at this claw is about to fall off. Come on, man. The guys are watching. Come on, man. The gang needs me. And anyway, so this is what he's going to look like, all blurry at the moment. So let me see if I can get Humpty Dumpty back together again. Give me 1 second. Try to lock up this. I mean, there's a little piece of paper in there, so it may not go so smooth. That wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad. And actually, he's just kind of standing on his own. So I think I'm gonna walk away right here. I'm not gonna try to put on the weapons or anything like that. And it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I thought it was gonna be far more catastrophic. That's it. That's it, gang. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. Been getting little bits of hate here and there. I appreciate the hate as well. And honestly, you can be honest about how you feel about these builds. If you don't like it, you can tell me as well. But there's a lot of different ways to go about doing it. You could be like, that's not my cup of tea. I don't like this or that about it. But you don't have to be a jerk, and you don't have to be rude about it. You know what I mean? And anytime people can't conduct themselves in a proper manner and be polite, or just be neighborly, so to speak, and they're just like lashing out, I'm like, bro, you don't know me. You don't know me. I don't know you. And so as soon as I see those type of people, boom, you're blocked from the channel. You can still watch all this stuff, and because we're making money off of your views, we're making money for charity. So keep watching, but you're not allowed to comment on any of the videos. You're not allowed to engage with the community, just because we don't want your energy here. Real talk. But we'll take that money though, son. We'll take that money. So anyway, thanks for everything. I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. BBO over and out from Iowa. I'll be back in the Bay Area in a couple of days or so, but who knows when this video will pop, right? All right. Cheers, gang. Bye-bye.